Hi everyone, I'm Christina and I'm a zero waste wannabe. This week we are talking about greenwashing. So what is greenwashing, first of all? Greenwashing is when a company spends more time and more money making you think that they're doing good for the earth rather than actually doing good for the earth. So there's a lot of examples of this, but we had an amazing example given to us in the last week. If you haven't heard, Starbucks is offering $10 million to somebody or some company that can come up with a more recyclable or compostable to-go cup for them. So this sounds great in theory, right? Because Starbucks goes through so many disposable coffee cups every day that you would think, oh, it's a really good thing that they're putting this effort and this money into incentivizing these sort of recyclable or compostable cups, right? It sounds good to the average consumer. But the problem is we have this amazing thing that happens in our brains, and I plan on doing a whole other video about this. But when we think that we can properly dispose of our trash, we actually consume more of it. So when we have a coffee cup that we think is compostable or recyclable, we're like, oh cool, I'll just keep drinking this coffee in this disposable cup because I can recycle it or compost it and all will be well. But the problem is, there's a lot of problems. So first of all, we are not reducing consumption of these disposable items. And in doing that, we're still taking resources from the earth to make disposable products. And even if they are recyclable or compostable, again, quotes, then we're not really still going to be consuming less resources, because if it's being composted, that, it's going to go into soil, theoretically, that will grow more things, but we're growing more things to fuel our disposable society. And if it's recyclable, plastic, we've talked about this before, I think, where plastic isn't actually fully recyclable, it's downcyclable, which means that it's not going to be made into the same product again. So a plastic cup, if we recycle it, it's not going to be made into another plastic cup. It's going to be made into something like a sweater or a park bench or something else that is not going to be able to be recycled down the road. So plastic has a very limited recyclable lifespan. So I was saying words. So we're still using a bunch of resources to make these items. Second of all, a product already exists that will solve their waste problem, and that's to-go cups, like to-go reusable cups, and coffee mugs. They already exist. And if Starbucks could put more effort into encouraging people to use these reusable mugs and to-go cups, then they wouldn't need these disposable cups that they're trying to make more recyclable or compostable. So rather than putting $10 million into a product that may or may not actually be fully recyclable or compostable, what if they put that $10 million into a marketing campaign for bringing your own reusable cups or mugs, or put that into staff training so that when you ask for a drink or when you order a drink, they say for here or to go, and if it's for here, they automatically give you a mug for there rather than a disposable cup. Or what if they gave all of or part of that $10 million to amazing organizations across the globe that are actively cleaning up our oceans and cleaning up our trash? That includes Starbucks to-go cups. There are so many other things that they could do with this $10 million that would actually make a huge difference for the amount of waste that we're creating. But instead, they're putting their $10 million into making us think that they're doing a great job. My battery's about to die. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back with a full battery, so we should be good now. So, we've talked about we're going to still be using resources to create these recyclable or compostable cups. And we've talked about how that money could go towards a lot of other great ways that we can reduce our trash. The other piece to this is, let's say they really do succeed in making a 100% recyclable or 100% compostable cup, okay? Even if they do that, unless there is a recycling bin or a compost bin on every street corner and in every home and in every apartment and in every, every business, then most likely these cups are still going to get thrown into a trash can. And that trash can is then going to go to a landfill. And the way that landfills are designed is that there is no oxygen that comes into the landfill. And so everything that's in the landfill actually breaks down anaerobically over a much larger period of time, and it releases methane gas, which is a significantly more harmful greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. So even if they do have a compostable cup, there's a good chance it's still going to go to a landfill, and so we're not going to get those resources back into compost and into soil, and we're not going to be able to grow new things from it. But it's also going to break down and create a very harmful greenhouse gas that's only going to contribute more to climate change. A lot of people think that landfills are just like big compost piles, but that's not the case. There are perfectly readable newspapers from 50 years ago in landfills, and there's tons and tons and tons of food that we are throwing away that is just sitting there, not breaking down, and it's creating a lot of problems. We're running out of room, first of all, and we're creating tons of greenhouse gases. So there's all sorts of problems with this $10 million that Starbucks is about to give away. But they're doing it in a way that makes us think, or makes the general consumer think, that they're doing amazing things and that they're going to save the planet. But they're not. And don't get me wrong, I love my Starbucks drinks, I love my mochas, I love my frappuccinos, but I always take my own cup with me. So I'm very disappointed that Starbucks is not making a greater effort to actually make an impact on the planet. They are such a prominent coffee company that if they really wanted to, they could really change consumers' behaviors. You know, people aren't gonna give up their Starbucks. It's already $5 a cup or whatever. People aren't just gonna give that up if you were to add like a 10-cent fee onto a disposable cup. You know, most likely people would start bringing their own cups, or they could have a take-back program. For example, there is a juice bar or whatever, I've never actually been there, in Columbus that has their juices in glass bottles with metal lids. So not only are these 100% recyclable, and glass can be recycled into another glass container, it doesn't lose its structure when it gets recycled. So not only can they be recycled, but you also pay a deposit whenever you purchase their juices. I think it's like 75 cents. So you buy a bottle of juice, you pay an extra 75 cents, and then you bring it back to them and you get 75 cents back. Starbucks could very easily implement something like this, where you get a mug from them or something, you take it with you, and then when the next morning, when you go back for more Starbucks, you bring it back to them and you get that deposit back. And then that deposit can just be applied to your next drink. And so you're not really losing or gaining any money here. It all would equal out, but Starbucks would be drastically reducing its waste, rather than spending all of this money on recyclable or compostable cups. And I keep putting recyclable and compostable in quotes because there's a lot of regulations that don't exist around what can be determined recyclable or compostable, and I'm planning on doing a whole other video about that, so I don't want to get too far into it. But the other piece to recycling, the video that I want to do is more about composting than recycling, so I'll just throw this in this video as well. China has stopped accepting recycling from other companies, and the United States exports half of our recycling to China. And so effectively, we can no longer recycle most of our plastics. And there's actually a lot of curbside recycling companies that aren't accepting plastic anymore. And I think that this also includes paper, I think. Again, I'll probably do a video on this too. But so let's say Starbucks does make this recyclable cup. Well, we can't really recycle it anymore because China has said, no, we're tired of dealing with your trash. Keep it yourself. You can't blame them for that. You know, who wants to be the country that just accepts all of the trash and then has to sort through it in dangerous conditions? And it's just, let's bring this back in a little bit. Yeah, so there's all of these things that go into greenwashing and Starbucks and this $10 million prize to make a product that already exists in the form of reusable products rather than disposable products. So I hope that you will do your research when you come across instances such as this. You know, maybe you see another product and you think, oh, that sounds great, and then you think about it a little bit more and you don't get all of the facts from the company maybe, or it just seems like there's more that they could do. I encourage you to do some research on that company, and the internet is a wealth of resources. There's tons of information out there about what's actually a green product and what's just trying to make you think that it is. So there's tons of resources out there. I encourage you to check them out, and don't believe everything that you see in an ad or even in a news article talking about how great this company is. Because there's usually a backstory to it. And sometimes the company really is doing great things. But we as the consumer need to be more conscious of that, because if we're not, then the companies are just going to keep doing it and we're going to keep fueling our disposable culture. So this has been a much longer video than most of my other videos, and I've been rambling a bit. But this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I sparked quite the debate at work last week about it, which was really cool, actually. So, because you would think I work at a very environmentally friendly place. I work at a zoo. So you would think that we would all be on the same page, but it was very interesting to see these different perspectives and different opinions on this, and that's what I love. You know, this is part of why I started this YouTube channel, was to voice my opinion and get opinions of other people and start these discussions and open up the world of possibilities for these debates and these discussions, and help us all really understand what's actually happening in the world with regards to sustainability, because there's a lot, and it's just sometimes really hard to sort through it all. So with that, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to end this video where it is, so that I don't keep rambling on, and I will make more videos that I just mentioned that I want to make videos about, and we will get those posted soon. But in the meantime, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please comment below what your thoughts are on the Starbucks $10 million campaign, and also comment if there's any other greenwashing campaigns that you're aware of that you think, you know, maybe I would like to do more research into, or what have you found about them and what makes you think that they're greenwashing. It's always good to get the word out about those. So thumbs up, comment, and then subscribe as well if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. I'm trying to do better about getting one every week. I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm sorry guys, I've been slacking a little bit. But in the meantime, I hope that you have found this video helpful, and I hope that you will be more conscious of greenwashing efforts in your area or across the world. And I will see you in my next video. Have a good week, guys.